What happens when you cross one of the biggest franchises of all time with one of the largest companies of all time? Because we have just had an orgasm knowing that Gundam Wing is developing a brand new card game, a CCG, which is going to be incredible. For the age, you need a beta box. You need a beta box. And you need it to play. But that's okay. We can get you a beta box. Upon hearing this news, we went and ordered every single deck that was English twice. We may have overdone it ever so slightly. However, look at the plethora of things you've got to learn how to play. Look what you have. It's sold out. It's sold out. It's okay. We know where to go. We know what to do. It's all right.
eBay.
So we went to eBay, and eBay said, hold my beer. Because we offered $400 for that English deck, and they wanted a lot more than $400. So back to the drawing board. However, if there's no how to play, and there's no play sheet for you available right now, you could either download the comprehensive rules. We weren't going to do that, but there is a tutorial video. Now, in all fairness to the tutorial video, it is pretty useful. It is relatively well put together, something which we recommend you jump into to break the back of your learning curve, because it can be quite aggressive. It is 6 hours long, or it can at least be 6 hours long once you've learned how to play all the mechanics and all the colours of the cards and all of the battle positions and what they do and what you need to do in order to be able to interact with certain deck positions. You get the drift. It's damn complicated if you don't know what you're doing. There are pilots, there are units, there are command cards, there are base cards, there are positions that you need to be aware of. But, if you have never played this game before, we recommend diving in. And Bandai came to our aid. There is a teaching app, inbound, ready to feed that malnourished brain. It's been delayed. So, with no teaching app, with no English beta box cards, and with the only cards circulating are the Japanese, seriously, they are just Japanese cards. We felt a bit like our German friend here.
Do it! Do it! Come on! Kill me! I'm here! Come on! Do it now! Kill me!
But that's okay. Because I've still got a way if there is no app, no beta cards, and the cards that you do get may be Japanese. I have still got a way for you to play. Thanks to an insane community on Reddit and on YouTube, there is a free, large range of cards, regularly updated application you can use. It is an AI bot on wingtable.net, and we are going to get Optimus Prime, that's right, you heard me, Optimus Prime, to go through the entire thing. Before we briefly leave you guys, if you need anything from the video so far, all of the links will be in the description below. For now, we're going to leave it to Optimus to give you the down low, and then we'll be back showing you our strategy using this application. Peace!
Hello, I am Optimus Prime, and I will be your host. Step 1. Go to wingtable.net/GCG. Here, you can put your skills to the test against an AI bot. With access to all currently released cards, the bot allows you to tweak and customize your deck with ease. Step 2. Add a new deck featuring 1 to 2 colors. You can only use a max of 2 colors to make a deck. There are also preset decks for you to choose from, which allows you to jump into the game instantly. In case you have already learnt the mechanics of the game, if you are yet to understand what all the cards do, then I recommend calling all Autobots. Wait, no, sorry. Having the official Gundam Wing site open with all the cards on display, so you can begin to structure your deck properly. You will notice that if you change the English extension and to the Japanese extension, that there are more cards in circulation with alternate artworks. However, it's worth pointing out that the beta cards will not be able to be used in competitive matches. Therefore, as MGTCG pointed out, it's worth pre-ordering the latest batch of decks coming out in 2025. Step 3. Next, head over to Deck Planet, your go-to site for discovering other people's deck builds and combos. You can borrow their creations or plug the cards directly into the AI bot to take on challenging, well-structured decks. If you are struggling to find any of these links, then all of the URLs will be in the description down below. What we like to do is to try each color out with different deck structures. We look at decks that we think will perform well and make sure we find the most powerful combinations and insert them for the bot to use. It takes a bit of time, but it's well worth it when you need the practice. You can sign up to the Patreon for even more control over the bot's options. Perfect for testing your skills and sharpening your tactics. Just getting started? No worries. The free version is more than enough to help you grasp the core concepts of the game. Step 4. Time to build your custom deck. Start by picking 2 colors, then explore your card options. Hover over a card name to see its image. Handy if you're more visual or want to avoid picking the wrong type, especially since some Gundam cards have similar titles. These cards are being released by the official Gundam company daily, and this app does a great job at uploading the cards, abilities, and functions quickly, so you can easily modify the deck if you want the card in your arsenal. We have chosen a red and green deck, which will mean we will only see red and green colored cards to choose from. In the top of the header bar, you will be able to choose from the 4 different type of card types: units, pilots, commands, and bases. When you are on the right type of card and have selected the card you want, you click the quantity of that card you want in your deck. You can only have 4 of one card in a deck in any competitive game. You aim to get to 50 cards total. When you are on the right type of card and have selected the card you want, you click the quantity of that card you want in your deck. You can only have 4 of one card in a deck in any competitive game. There is no balance when combining colors. You can have as many or as few off a second color as you please. In our experience, you want a good mixture of bases and pilots with a lot of units and a few commands. Ideally, you have a good amount of low-cost cards in your deck so that you can start on the offensive early rather than wait for the more powerful cards to come later in the game. And before we go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on what decks you have ready for the upcoming competitions. Step 5. Setting up the AI bot. Now that you have your decks that you want to test out, you need to select what your opponent will have. To give yourself a match, simply click onto the deck you want to play against and select Player 2. This will preload the selected deck. Will save you time. Selecting a preloaded deck as your opponent means you don't need to make multiple decks before you start. Now you have everything set up and ready. The last thing you have to do is set who is going first. We recommend clicking random as often as possible to experience what it's like going both first and second. This has been Optimus Prime, over and out.
Thank you, Optimus. So, the state of play is you draw 5 cards, you get to mulligan your hand, you only get to do this once. So, recommended that you look through your hand, see if you've got any immediately playable cards. If not, mulligan. If you're happy with what you have, you then set bases. Bases go to the left-hand side. Depending on who starts first, you draw a resource, and then your opponent has 1 resource in the bank. Having that extra resource isn't necessarily an advantage or disadvantage, but if I'm going to be completely honest, I prefer going second. It just means that I'm able to flood the board with higher level cost cards than my opponent. It is not to say that it's going to put me at any significant winning advantage, but personally I just really prefer rush strategies at the moment. We're going with a green and red combo with this particular deck, and the meaning of that is that we're able to flood the board with high attacking types, low cost types, and it is just really difficult to deal with, and it's a mixture of aggressively attacking the units as well as the bases. We kind of like hit and go. So what we're doing right now is just assessing the board. They've managed to play a 1 cost 1 level card, because each resource actually leads to a level. So you can't play a card unless you have that quantity of resources available, and then when you play that card, depending on the cost, you will have to turn your resources to the side to say that you've used that resource to deposit that unit. So there we go, 3 resource elements now in our area. It means we can play a 3 cost and a level 3. We can play a level 3 and a 1 cost, but ultimately it will leave us with those types of options going forward, and they go up in increments of 1. However, there are cards that allow you to increase your resource amounts. Okay, just about to play our 3rd card now, and you can see in the middle it will demonstrate, this particular AI bot will demonstrate what special effects your units have, which is really nice, really useful for newcomers of the game to come in, sit down, hover and just read over. So just there it says burst. When we attack and destroy a unit, we will do a certain amount of damage to their bases. Now if they don't have an active base in their system, as you're seeing there, we will do damage. We'll play it through for you, but our units just attacked the base and destroyed their original base, their preliminary base that you get given at every game. So now, when we next go to attack this unit, it will also do damage, a burst damage to... Oh, we will get there, Okay, so they've set the board up really nicely actually. And if you've been paying attention, that card that we just pulled actually allows us to increase our resource amount. So we're just assessing our options. We've got a lot of bases in our hand. Not necessarily a bad thing. The nice thing about bases is that if you play them from your hand, you get to pick up one of your bases from the face down cards section. So it's a good way to actually buffer your hand as well. So we've just played our card. That's going to give us an extra resource. That resource will stay until we utilize it. So it's a really nice way of increasing your level quantity and amount. We're then going to play a base. We're just trying to decide which one. So the resource gets used, the base gets put down as defense. We have a triggered ability. We get to pick which card we want at the top of our deck. And we've pulled whatever was face down, card 6, face down, on the base area. So we've actually pulled a pilot, which is very useful. We need pilots to link, get special abilities and boost our units' attack and defense. So all round, great moves. We're now going to use this burst unit and just show you what it does. So we can't attack units normally. We can't attack units that haven't already been placed in an attack position. So you see the extra damage it did to the base? That is because the ability of that particular unit is to deal damage once it has finished an opponent's unit. So we've wiped that particular base out. We're going to turn our guy, attack. He's got his ability activated. Now you notice that that particular card went to the opponent's hand. That means that that was a pilot of sorts. And there it is. There's the pilot. They have linked, and now we're about to get attacked. We will deal damage equal to our attack to our opponent's unit. However, that particular ability allowed it to reduce our attack level, therefore lowering the damage. Okay, and it's a lot like this. There's a lot of back and forth. That unit, as you just saw there, recovered 1. That's its special ability. And lots of these cards have some really unique, really fun and really diverse ways of interacting with decks. So you can structure this in so many different ways. There really is no winner takes all. Like, you can really play some nice aggressive, nice defensive decks, and it could still play out for you. So another card that we like is a bit of an aggro card. It's just going to completely wipe one of these units off the board. It does 2 damage, regardless of what position they're in. They don't have to be attack or defense. So recently played cards normally get Summoning Sickness. I say normally because obviously there are changes to the rules, but it doesn't matter with that card. You can just wipe it straight off and then they've got to go again. It's a nice way of just suppressing their unit quantities. So we've sacrificed a perfectly good base to summon a unit and to pull one from our base. Strengthens our hand, gives us variation, and actually allows us to just continue playing essentially. What you don't want to do is be found with a lot of resources that you can't use. And you do tend to get a very low hand variation towards the end of the games because you can play quite a lot of high volumes around this time. When you get to 7, 8, 9, it's very difficult to have the draw rate to be able to produce consistent 4 or 5 units per turn. So what we've just done is linked Hiroyui with his particular, one of his actually particular units. We don't get any serious special effect from that, but as you can see, the stats above. And what I will say about this bot, guys, is that it is very, very useful to just test, play, try all these different strategies you have in your head. And it does give you a challenge. It is not a walk in the park by any means, even though it's on basic mode. And we have paid for the harder versions, but honestly, I did not win every game when I first started out. There were some serious holes in these decks that I manufactured, and therefore it is just the perfect way to get leveling up, understanding the mechanics, and with the increasing variation of cards being released by Gundam and then implemented by these incredible devs, you do get to change your deck almost daily now. So as you can see, we've been whittling down their bases, and to be fair, they've been whittling down their own bases because they keep playing base cards. We've kind of flooded the board. We've got some really nice base cards in our hand. We've got the ability to kind of sacrifice a few attacks directly if we want to. And we say directly again, we mean to bases. Once you get attacked directly, you're out of the game. But wow, look at that. We like where we're at the moment. Now that they are completely out of bases, the only way for them to defend is if they play bases from their hand. So no more burst effects for them. And a burst effect is essentially when you turn that face down card in the base section over. So they're going to go for the bases. I think there is a flaw in the AI bot in this regard where it won't necessarily sense the danger of having a board as aggressively structured. I mean, that's all well and good what they've done, but there's going to be 4 straight attacks at this base and then consequently the game. So just in case they have any cards in hand that could potentially alter any of my cards' attacks or abilities, it is wise to still flood the board. You can do this at any time. There's no like set period where you need to lay cards onto the board. You can do it after an attack, before an attack. And there are some chain events, but not many at the moment. So we're going to take Zaku, we're going to try and attack directly, and then just for fun, we're going to whittle down the units. But realistically, once you attack directly, it is the end of the game. And it will automatically tell you that is the end. And you can either restart or load again. So we'll reset, we'll do one more walkthrough, and then we'll leave you just to observe, witness, and watch some of our strategies, how we play, etc. So, take your hand, mulligan, no mulligan, load the bases, and load the resource. We have got the extra resource this time, which means we can play a 1 or 2 cost at a 1 or 2 level. And this is where I think, to be fair, blue and white combos also have a really nice way of like layering the boards early on. But we really enjoy green. Green and red or green and white both have some unique flavours to them. And there's going to be a new colour introduced really soon. And that's going to be super interesting to see how that all pans out. So because I've only played a 1 cost, it's a level 2 but it's a 1 cost, it means I get to keep my additional resource. What that does for me means that I can play a level 3 next turn and keep the resource if I only play a 2 cost. Okay, so we sent that back to my hand, that's fine, we don't mind that. So again, want to keep that resource until I really need it. His move wasn't even aggro, it was just, you know, just frustrating. So did you notice that they played that instantly, linked it with the correct pilot, and then was able to attack straight away? That is what linking effectively can do with pilot and unit. And we have no base, so already looks like a bit of a challenge actually. This seems to have turned it up a notch. And we're saying, you know what? We should really use our resource and start removing the threat here. I was going to end my turn just then and I thought, why on earth am I doing that? I should attack. Again, there is an issue with doing that, and that it leaves my unit open to attack next time round if he manages to do it again. So fortunately for us, I don't think that's the case. But we're only just there. If that was the correct link, that could possibly attack again. So we've got a nice hand, a couple of pilots, 3 nice units, and 1 that we can't play yet because that is Hero Yui's main link. So we won't link Hero with this card even though it is one of his linkable units. We're going to wait for the big swinging D on the left hand side that's greyed out. Greyed out because we cannot play it yet. We should call it the big swinging G really. Okay, so it's a bow. And I'm not going to attack his unit because I can't. So already, from what looked like a really strong position from the opponent's side, we're now in a position that looks really strong. We've got 4 units on the board. We are equal in terms of bases. That's a nice return. That's a clever return. Some really good link-ups here. And again, it's just swung again. It looked really strong about 2 moves ago. And now I'm thinking to myself, we've got to flood the board again to where it was. So it's a resource drainer, if anything. And the effect of blockers, something you'll see in this game, I'm sure, can be really, really useful. You've just got to be strategic in how you play them. And make sure they're not too higher cost. I found that higher cost blockers really tough to deal with from a playable perspective. Too many like cost 4s, level 4s aren't that effective. It's the really annoying like 1 blockers and one cost 1 unit blockers. They're tough. They just get in the way. Can really affect attacks and strategic ways of maneuvering your attacks. So we have linked that unit up, and that is just to buffer it. And as you notice, the cards are starting to dwindle down. Now, blue has a lot of draw capabilities and green and red don't, so we will almost always fall short of being able to play cards collectively. That went from a 3 to 3 card swing in the hand to what is now a 4 to 3 card swing. And they have a base and they have 2 units. But we're about to show you why this deck is so powerful. So we're just having to think about which one to play first. Bearing in mind, when we play a card, almost always it's going to have not just summoning sickness, but it's not going to be attacked immediately or directly straight away. So I'm kind of just building this little war army in the background. I'm going to let them try and defeat my weaker units before I go in. And I want to remove the base, because ideally I want to whittle down the bases that they have rather than their units. But with the next combo you'll see why that base needs to be removed. And again, would a genuine player play like this? I don't know. Damn it. No, anyway, another base. We'll sort it. We'll sort it. Gosh, and a blocker as well. And a heal. So we're in a tight spot. That was a good pull. That was a good pull. Right, so we're going to play the main card of the deck. We're going to link it with its main pilot of the deck. That gives it instant attacking abilities, in addition to it having rush and it being able to attack. I think it's anything from level 5 and lower cost cards. It'll also do 5 damage to any base on the field on the opponent's side. So an absolute, oh, we'll have another one of those. An absolute deck clearer. Complete board clearer. And you're about to see the devastation that this can unfold. Now, if you link that particular unit with its pilot, that also has some really gnarly effects. He's still in a really good spot because a lot of those units are damaged. And I have to get rid of them because I've only got 1 unit on the board. But you can see there, immediately, huge hits. It's taken 3 cards. And if you get that in your hand, if you get 2 heroes and 2 of those Gundams in your hand, yeah, it's really difficult to break. Really difficult. But look, he has paired this really well. His pulls have been phenomenal. There's nothing we can do about it. Back to being at square one, really. And this is the kind of game we're struggling with. So I get that extra resource, but it's really not that valuable to me now. I've flooded the board with all of our hands, all of our cards. There isn't anything I can do. Oh. And you see, again, I'd have got rid of the other Gundam, but fair enough. So unless we pull a base, we're really vulnerable. Really vulnerable. Okay, that's not quite what we're... Again, very lucky pull. I still don't think it's quite enough. Now, I lucked out there massively. So, not only do I have one on the board that's all ready to go, without being linked, I get to link with the main pilot that I accidentally pulled from the base and flood the board. So, I'm actually going to level this. And I think this is game. But pure luck. Very little skill with the draw that I got. And again, has completely swung the game right at the knife edge into my favour. So that should eliminate the base. This will eliminate the unit and another base. Oh, really? Okay, I screwed up there. I should have attacked with him first, but we should be okay. When they get down to about 1 or 2 cards, and like I say, these resources being at 7, 8, 9, really doesn't matter that much. It's rare they're going to have these like unique pulls and combos. Oof. It was close. But yeah. And the only real hope you have now at this rate is to attack the base and hope it's not a base card. No. So next turn, we should win. But that was extremely close and extremely lucky. Yeah, I see if that blocker had come earlier. Damn, and he paired it again. Had some incredible pairings this game. Always play your cards, always play the board, you never know. I know it's a completely dead hand, but... And of course, being a blocker, he acts not as a base per se, but he can only get to do it once per turn. So it's not like he can double block you. Yeah. But there were always going to be one block for this particular attack. And look, team, that is Gundam. This is how incredibly tight this game can be. I'm not even playing against professional or seasoned players. This is an AI bot who's just putting together what I'm telling it to. Obviously, I want as big a challenge as possible and I want to hone my skills to get as good as possible, but you are more than capable of utilising this tool and becoming a very, very good player, seasoned player within half an hour. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one.